What's going on, guys? It's week 6. I got my schedule and my predictions from last week right here. And for the first time this year, 2 weeks in a row, I did pretty good. I think I had 11 wins the week prior, and I had like 10 this week. So I'm a little excited about that, feeling pretty good about it. Got to be honest, this past Sunday, I didn't get to watch a ton of football at 1 o'clock just because I had some things going on before the Cowboys game. Usually I'll throw on Red Zone, but I just didn't get much of a chance. So let's go and get started. And first I'll go over these week 6 picks, and then we'll reflect on last week, see what I got right, see what I got wrong, go from there. So first we have, actually, you know what, I'm going to start with the Dallas Cowboys game because I noticed I didn't write it down on this because I do my own preview and prediction video for the Cowboys game each week. It's Monday Night Football. We got the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas against the Arizona Cardinals. And guys, I feel really weird about this because I picked the Cardinals to win. As a diehard Cowboys fan, I kind of feel wrong. I mean, usually before I was doing YouTube, I don't make predictions, right? I just hope we win. But going by our first 5 games of the season, I just don't think we're going to beat the Cardinals. I hope I'm wrong. I've caught some flack for saying that with people that don't watch the videos and just assume that I'm being a hater, which isn't the case because I definitely see a path to victory any week. But I'm picking the Cardinals to win, right? So now we'll get to the Chicago Bears at the Carolina Panthers. And I went back and forth with this one, guys, because the Panthers don't have the talent that some of these teams out there have. But, man, they're playing pretty good football. At the same time, I could kind of go and say the same thing about the Chicago Bears. So I think I originally picked the Panthers, and I decided to flip-flop it and choose the Bears. And I'm going to go with the Bears. It's kind of a crapshoot at this point. I'm 50-50 on it, but I do think the Bears may win. It's in Carolina, so, you know, who knows? It's going to be a tough one for sure. Might be one of the better games this week. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm picking the Colts to win that. They're doing pretty well. Just a better defense. I like the direction that Joe Burrow's headed in. You know, he definitely struggled against the Ravens. I didn't get to watch too much of the game. But, I mean, that's a time where he needed an offensive line, and he just didn't have it. We saw that for a lot of Andy Dalton's career. When Andy Dalton had a good offensive line in Cincinnati, he was winning games. And when he doesn't, he struggled. So next we have the Detroit Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's a gnat over here. I live near the beach, so we get sand gnats all the time. They drive me crazy. But so Detroit at Jacksonville, and I picked Detroit. You know, they looked pretty good against the Cardinals a couple weeks ago, and I'm just not feeling the Jaguars this season. I think their defense is really struggling. Even though it's in Duval, I'm going with Detroit. Next we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm picking the Vikings to win this one. Kind of a no-brainer. I mean, Vikings haven't looked great this season, but they've had a couple nice wins. The Atlanta Falcons just fired their head coach. I'm not really seeing much of anything out of them, although they do have some weapons on offense, and Matt Ryan's not a bad quarterback, so I had to put some thought into it. But I think the Vikings are just coached a little better, and they're playing a little better. We have the Washington football team at the New York Giants. And guys, it was kind of hard for me not to pick the Giants here because I thought they looked good against the Cowboys. But at the end of the day, we're just not a very good football team right now. I think that Washington brings a little more to the table. They just have a little bit more talent on defense. Not necessarily saying that they have a much better defense because the Giants defense is playing pretty well and they're well coached. I kind of think that Washington is going to win this game, but it could be close, and I could definitely be wrong. But the Giants are definitely going to be looking to get that first victory. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm definitely picking the Ravens here, and I hope the Ravens win. Even though I'm wearing what looks like an Eagles shirt, it's definitely not. Don't like the Eagles, but, you know, they're kind of getting better each week slowly. I do see that. So it does concern me a little. I hope they don't beat the Ravens because that's going to be scary. We had that number 1 spot in the NFC East, but if we do lose this week and if the Eagles win, then it'll be looking even drearier. So hopefully that's not the case. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another one I kind of went back and forth with. I just think the Steelers, are just a little bit better. Obviously, the Browns are a well-coached team. Obviously, they're doing a great job at running the ball. They have the talent. Their offensive line and their defensive line, they've had very good line play on both sides. I just think the defense on the Steelers is very tough, and offensively, they're not struggling as much this year as they have in years past. I think they're just a slightly better team. Wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way, but I'm picking Steelers. Next, the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. And guys, I'm rolling with the Titans. Are they going to play this game on time? Like, is that going to be on Sunday? I have no idea. I don't know if they had to change the schedule around. We saw what the Titans did to the Buffalo Bills. That kind of surprised me. I knew the Titans were a very good team. I've been talking about it all season, even before the season started. I didn't necessarily think they were going to beat the Bills, but they were very impressive in that game. Ryan Tannehill, Texas A&M Aggie, he continues to peak at a later age in his career. He's like 32 years old. Houston, they're going through their fair of struggles. They just fired their coach as well. I don't see them beating a team like Tennessee. Even if Tennessee's missing some players or having to miss practice, obviously that didn't affect them. We have the Denver Broncos at the New England Patriots. This is another game. Are they playing this one? I'm just a little confused. I think I picked that one last week. It was postponed last week, and they're going to play it this week, I guess. I picked the Patriots last week, so I'm just going to stick with it. I think they do have Cam coming back, and that would probably be the difference if that's the case. It's in New England, so I'm picking the Pats. New York Jets at Miami Dolphins. They prove me wrong every time I pick against them. Jets always prove me right. The Jets just aren't a very good football team. Do they have a chance of beating the Dolphins? I don't really think so. I mean, the talent difference isn't crazy, but the Dolphins continue to just play at a higher level than I think their talent even shows. Like, you got guys like Mike Gesicki stepping up, making plays. Ryan Fitzpatrick is having some nice games, and so I look forward to seeing that team improve moving forward, and hopefully once Tua is the starter there, then they'll have a pretty good team around them. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I think this is the first time this year I've picked against the Buccaneers. It's A-Rod versus Tom Brady, and A-Rod is having a great season, and I just think the Packers are playing a little better. I don't think the Buccaneers are a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. I think a loss would put them at 3-3. A win would put them at 4-2. So obviously it's a big game for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they do come out and win. But I think that Green Bay is a little bit better of a team, and Rodgers is playing at the highest levels right now. So I'm taking Green Bay. Last game of the week, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. I think for 49ers are starting to get a bunch of guys back. I think maybe their quarterback is back this week, Jimmy G. If that's the case, then, who knows? I went ahead and picked the Rams, not knowing that at the time about Garoppolo. So if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. I think the Rams are a formidable opponent for anybody. Even when the 49ers are at their best, the Rams aren't going to be easy to beat. So I'm sticking with the Rams. Hopefully Cam Akers gets a bunch of carries because I have him in my fantasy league and I need running back production badly. Next, I get to gloat a little bit about last week. Let's just go through it real quick. Buccaneers at Bears. So that was the one where the Buccaneers struggled. They lost to the Bears. That's probably part of the reason why I picked the Bears this week because they beat Tampa. It was an impressive win. Put me at 0-1 because I picked Tampa to win that game. Carolina Panthers beat the Falcons. I picked the Panthers. Like I said, Panthers are playing good football. I think the Falcons may have been the favorite to win that game, and I could not decide why. I'm not much of a sports gambling guy, but if I was a betting man, I would have definitely bet on the Panthers to win that game. That put me at 1-1. Cincinnati Bengals lost to the Ravens. That was an easy one for me. Put me at 2-1. Jaguars lost to the Texans. I thought that was an easy pick. Put me at 3-1. Raiders beat the Chiefs. Did anybody pick the Raiders to win that game? That surprised me. But, I know the Las Vegas Raiders aren't a bad team this year. They've added some depth, some weapons. A lot of Cowboys players. You got Jeff Heath now, Jason Witten out there still making plays, which is kind of surprising because they have Foster Moreau and especially Darren Waller, the big 6'6" tight end who's fast like a receiver. It's a bit surprising that Witten's even getting any burn, but he does get open and he's making big plays. So I'm impressed with what Gruden is doing with the team this season for sure. That put me at 3-2. Cardinals beat the Jets. That put me at 4-2. Again, always pick against the Jets, right? Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Steelers. I think that was a close one, but I did pick the Steelers, and luckily I was right. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles played the Ravens tough this week because I think they played the Steelers pretty tough. That put me at 5-2. Buffalo Bills lost to the Tennessee Titans. That surprised me a little, and not just because Tennessee won, because I know they're a decent team, but just not being able to practice all week because of the COVID situation. And then Buffalo was just looking all world out there. I mean, they've been a great team so far this season, and they kind of blew it against the Titans. I was surprised. I know my buddy Dan Mitchell, who's a Bills YouTuber, was not excited about that. He's been in a bad mood all week because of it. But I did pick the Bills to win, so it's not my fault, Dan. That put me at 5-3. Again, not mad at losing that one. 6-3. I was right about the Rams. They beat the Washington football team. So, like I said, the Rams pretty much owned the NFC East except for the Eagles. They did tie with the Eagles. Miami Dolphins beat the 49ers. I was wrong about that one. I picked the 49ers, even with all the injuries. That was a pretty impressive win for Miami. I'd say that's probably their biggest win so far this year. That put me at 6-4. The Denver at New England game was postponed. I still picked the Patriots, and so I'm sticking with that pick this week. Indianapolis Colts lost to the Cleveland Browns. Man, Browns are impressive. I did pick the Browns because of how they looked against Dallas, and I was right. 7-4. If it wasn't for the Browns-Cowboys games, I might would have picked the Colts, but I'm glad I didn't. New York Giants lost to the Cowboys. Man, was I barely right about that one, but I was correct. So I finally got a Cowboys prediction correct besides that Falcons game. 8-4. Obviously, that was frustrating losing Dak. Watch all my Cowboys videos about that, and I'll talk more about that moving forward. Minnesota Vikings lost to the Seattle Seahawks. I picked the Seahawks. That was easy pick for me. Vikings aren't playing great. Russell Wilson is. That put me at 9-4. And the final game last week was the Los Angeles Chargers at New Orleans. The Saints won. I think it went overtime or double overtime or something, but I did pick the Saints to win. Put me at 10-4 for the week. So 10 wins this week, 11 wins the week before. Let's see how I do moving forward, guys. Appreciate y'all watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely smash that subscribe button for some more daily NFL and really Dallas Cowboys content. First and foremost, I'm a Dallas Cowboys YouTuber, but every once in a while I'll post some other stuff. I post predictions throughout the NFL every week. I post some Madden videos, and every once in a while I'll jump into some other stuff. That's going to do it for today, guys. I'm out. Peace!